less, right? And this is as far as I can help. This is as far as I can bring you. Why do I say that? You see, this is PMC, PMB. Okay, I'm just skipping the labels here. Of course, acid P, this, they are rehearsed. They are standard. The aim is always the same. The way you poke the equilibrium is always the same. But what really is up to you, right, is the context, right? So when you talk about the context, what is the PMC? What is the PMB? Okay. So the PMB, all right, additional revenue is the additional knowledge that you gain from reading one more book, correct? Okay, so this one is additional knowledge. PMC, you can't say it's the price of a plate of chicken rice, like the price of a book, because borrowing from the library is supposed to be free of charge, right? So no choice, you have to stay with implicit cost, which is the up cost, all right? The up cost of reading the book. And what's your up cost? Time, right? Time spent. So if you talk about time spent, you could say the up cost increases because the more time you spend burying your heads into a book, right? The more you compromise on other things that are more important. Studying for an exam, okay? Going to work, it still fits in. And what is important is that when you have structures, you not only see how to start, you see how to end the write-up. You know once you reach the end of P, you end off. No need to write extra content to feel a bit assured, right? So this is it. Any questions? Any divergence from what you have? Don't have, right? Okay. What about consumer when consuming alcohol? Nadine, what do you think? When you consume alcohol, is it once off or is it incremental? So in other words, acid P or UBCC? Acid P, yes? Acid P, yeah? Acid P, because you can make a decision, right? Consume one more or one less glass of alcohol. In fact, you have seen this before. Yes? Market failure in the case of alcohol. So I am just taking away one thing from here. I don't talk about spillover effects. Okay? And if I'm not wrong, this feels this feels reasonable to you also, right? Spillover benefits from reading, yes. So third parties are members of society who benefit when you are more productive and economic growth is there. So sometimes SCP is just one step behind showing an externality. You could use that as a criterion. Okay? PMC, PMB. Okay? So PMC is the cost of that glass of alcohol. It's rising, right? Why is it rising? Okay? You could say PMC is the cost of the alcohol. It's also rising because of the law of increasing of cost. What else comes under PMC? When you're thinking of the alcohol, you drink and drink and drink, what happens? Liver hardens, right? Stomach or whatever gets burned out. So, private health costs. Okay. So, I can even from here tease out a certain rule of thumb. If you are talking about a demerit good, you will find it easier to contextualize PMC. In the sense, it's always going to be the monetary cost and the private cost. Smoking also. Gambling also. Right? If it's a merit good, it's easier to contextualize PMB. Better health protection. You realize for chicken rice, ours was so generic. Oh, the satisfaction you get when you gobble down a plate of chicken rice. But when you talk about healthcare, alright, vaccinations, oh, better health protection. So, merit good, easier to contextualize PMB. Demerit good, easier to contextualize PMC. Follow, ah? Okay. Consumer, when deciding whether to go overseas for undergrad studies. What is this? UBCC, very good. You can't say go to one country to study 1 year, then go another country. It doesn't work that way. It's a once-off decision. Okay? So if you think of it as UBCC, okay, probably one good news is that you don't really have a diagram compared to SCP. Right? But the bad news is you need to write still. You still need to populate a 10-mark answer. So you need more context. Benefit. Okay? So let's be very clear. Benefit should always be private benefits here, right? Rational consumers doesn't care about others. You don't care about others. So benefit, you're going to say maybe your better job prospects, or even the value of your networks. I think this one is always ignored. Some people will say just focus on studies, but they don't realize that networking is so important. Even now, the CCAs you're in, you're active and all, it's still good because you get networks. Education is not just the final degree. Okay? So that's your benefit. In terms of cost, okay, I hope you remember, it's implicit, it's also explicit. Okay, so the school fees, which if you can be more contextual, is also accommodation because you're overseas, right? Implicit will be the op cost. Okay, so op cost will be oh, the money could be used elsewhere, right? You could have invested the money in a business or something like that. Constraints. You know, constraint, we always talk about budgetary constraints, but I said try to think of info. How? You do not know whether you can cope. Ability to cope. Okay. Unintended, very hard. What, you go there and get into bad company? No, I think that one is very too far-fetched. Okay? No diagrams. Any questions? Okay. So if you look at the part on the government side, you will find that for governments, the structure comes in to help you.